I have a lot of stories on SMC that I'd like to share with you. One of them is the laboratory. And some of you might know of a past SMC player named Seven Sonic 7. He was a very good friend to me. We hung out. We were pals. And one thing that you could take away from him was he was basically the gaster of the SMC community at that time. Both in the ways that he was a redstone genius and in the ways that he mysteriously disappeared. And part of me hopes that he hears this because, I'd like to at least know how he's doing, Anyways, back to the story. So, he was a redstone fucking genius. And I remember this was after I played Undertale for a bit. I might make a video, me playing Undertale while talking how I sort of do in these videos. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments down below, but back to what I was saying. I've just finished playing Undertale and I went through the True Lab section. And I was like, whoa, I have an idea. And then I texted 7Sonic7 on Skype because at the time, SMC didn't really use a Discord. It just used, Skype and then Skype groups. It was very unorganized, but, it worked. And I hit him up and I said, hey, what would you think if we created a redstone lab? And he was like, yo, that's a great idea, but where would he put it? And for a few days, we decided on where to put it, and, we were gathering all the resources. Specifically, we gathered up a bunch of quartz and, obviously redstone, glowstone, dispensers, all that stuff. And eventually, we settled in on, a mesa. I think it was in some, one of those, huge hills that you would see generated by the mesas. And it was made entirely out of quartz. And it basically it looked like Alphys's surface lab at first, but then it started turning into the True Lab from Undertale, sort of. Well, I don't know. Essentially, what it was how many times did I say "was" in that sentence? Fucking 3 times. Essentially, what it looked like was you would climb down this ladder, which would only be opened on the inside. And it was this really complex sticky piston door that would open from the inside. It was like a trap door, kind of, but it was triggered by the inside. And I think it was around 4 blocks wide. No, it was 2 blocks tall and 2 blocks wide, and it could only be triggered on the inside, and you couldn't get in any other way. So your presence would have to be expected in order to get in. So you'd have to be a scientist on the team, or someone who just wants to come and tour the place or something like that. But yeah, point is, only way you could get in was on the inside, and that was really cool. I really liked that. That was my favorite part about it. Oh, and in advance, I'm sorry if you hear creaking sounds. I'm currently laying on my couch. That's what I'm going to be doing every time I record one of these. Anyway, back to my story. And we basically lined it up, the entire lab. So think Portal 2. You know how the panels, they were entirely customizable and controllable by the, pistons. That's essentially what we did, but with our lab. And there was this bit stairway that would go down once you go into the entrance from the 2x2 sticky piston door. And when you went in, there were these pressure plates connected to some dispensers. And what they would do is you would walk on them, and the dispensers would dispense armor to you, like a white leather armor. And they were named lab coat, lab boots, lab pants, lab helmet, It was really cool. I liked that. I think that was my idea. But looking back, I'm not sure how good the functionality was. I think it was just for the aesthetic. And when you walked in, you had the option of going into the main test chamber, which there was only one, but it was really big and it had, separate sections. And there was this one big room, and you would go in it, and you would be locked in from the outside, and then there would be this observation little area that you would climb up on a ladder, and there was a whole control panel up there full of levers, buttons, all that other stuff, and it would control like a whole sorts of stuff. Like, for example, one of the buttons controlled a dispenser on the top of the roof, which would be revealed by pressing another button, which would activate the piston door, which would open up, and then it would push the dispenser down. And then once you wanted to press the other button that I talked about before, it would start dispensing water, and there was another one right next to it which would dispense lava. And it would all just pour down and flow into the entire lab. What we would use that for, I'm not really sure. I guess it was to just, like, I don't know, make a little pond. I don't know. Looking back on it, I'm not sure how much use any of these things really had. More of an aesthetic thing. Another button that one we had was another dispenser, and this time it spawned mobs, and this was like a big thing. I'm not sure where he got them, but somehow he got his hands onto spawn eggs, and these spawn eggs ranged from creepers, zombies, spiders, witches, endermen, you know, all those types. And it was really cool. I remember we tested a few people, specifically how well they could handle combat with people annoying the fuck out of them. We didn't really do many experiments. I think the real thing was just the journey along the way. Another thing I remember is we planned on making like another area, and it was just like another test cube right next to the test cube I just finished talking about with all the buttons and stuff. And there was like a glass window, and you would see into the other one to see how well your fellow test subject was doing. We had such great plans. It was so great. He did all the redstone, and I basically thought of all the experiments and such. It was so fun. I really enjoyed that. It was such a good time. But out of nowhere, he just sort of vanished. Not a single word from him ever since then. I looked over the lab, hoping that he would come back within a day or two, but nope. He never came back. And, yeah, I still think fondly of that lab. So like I said from the beginning, I hope he sees this and knows, you know, I still remember you, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the lab. Let's see. Oh god, another story. Oh, this is good. So, this kind of originates from my appearance on Judge Josh. I think it was number 4, the Banana King Crown episode. And, yeah, so this was before me and Evo had any sort of, like, rivalry or anything like that. And, this was long after, Sonic 7 had vanished. And I had accepted the fact that he was gone, you know, he was out of my life. So, I made a second lab because this was when the other lab was long gone. It was deleted. It was kaput, gone, deleted. It was erased. And I hit Evo up because he was like a friend of mine at that time. And no, he hit me up. And he was like, yo, do you want to see my cloning lab? And I was like, and this is, I don't think he knew how much I cared about, you know, labs at that time. But he was like, but I was like, oh my god, I need to see this. So I teleport to him. And it's quite literally a cloning facility. Like a small cloning facility. And Nataman, the current Banana King of the server, and how the Banana King ranked worked, in case you're unfamiliar. It was basically this crown that you wore, and if you wore it for 30 days, you would get some sort of prize. And if you took the crown off, then you would lose the rank, and then it would have to be handed off to someone else. So it was a big deal if you ended up losing the crown. And essentially what happened was Evo, from my memory, I think Evo just, I'm not sure what happened, but whatever it was, Nadaman teleported to us because he was like cloning facility. I want to see this. And the cloning facility had like two those classic traps where if you step into it, then a pressure plate will close in all of the four doors around it and you couldn't get out. It essentially looked kind of like that, but there was a way out. And somehow you would be teleported to the other side. I think they just set up two homes there beforehand and just, role played along. But essentially, I think that's what it was. And Nadaman teleported and he was like, oh my god, I want to get through. I want to see this. So he goes into one side. And he teleports to the other side using his, whatever he did, /home command. I'm not sure what he did, but however he did it, he teleported into the other side. And then he died. We killed the king. We just committed treason on accident. So we were panicking, right? And there was this... And when Nadaman died, he dropped the crown. And I was going off in chat like, oh my god, I have the crown, I have the crown, I have the crown. And then, Josh got online because this was a big deal. And Josh, he was like, oh, good for you, Ors, or whatever he said. He said something like that. And, well, no, first he said, who has the crown? And then I was like, me, I have it. And then something I noticed while I was saying, I did. I distinctly remember on the video that Josh did before this, where he just announced the king crown, is that the king crown had like a yellow name, and it was in all caps, and it was like in italic bold text, yellow, banana king crown, and then it had this description in purple where it was like, the wearer of this crown, dictates SMC, or whatever the text said, classic lore of diamond tools and stuff like that. But it was just on the Banana King crown. What I noticed was there was no bold yellow name. There was just, the classic blue enchanted italic all lowercase Banana King crown, and there was no lore in it. The enchants were all off. And that's what sort of started the entire Judge Josh episode. Nadaman had a fake crown the entire time. And apparently he threw away the real crown. He burned it so that people wouldn't get corrupted by its power or something. Actually, I don't even think it was Nadaman. I think it was Luke, Be the Builder. I'm unsure of what happened now. Speaking of Luke Be the Builder, we're going to get into another that after this, but I remember I made a follow-up video. I'll send the link in the description of the follow-up video I made on the Bennett King Crown situation. Just keep in mind it's severely outdated, and it's a young version of me with blue hair, 2015, it's cringe. But yeah, that's the whole Nadaman situation, in case you wanted to hear from someone who was actually there. Anyways, like I said, Luke Be the Builder. Oh, I have such fond memories. This is going to be good. So let's start things off in the beginning. So, when things started off, this was when the Null attack happened. Luke Be the Builder's, little Iron Haven. Now, Iron Haven was basically a town. I'm pretty sure everyone who's ever played on SMC from 2017 onwards knows about it, but if you've played from 2019 to now, that was weird, but if you've only played till now, then you wouldn't know about it, so this would help. It was basically the biggest town in SMC's entire history. There were 80 members, all coming from the Null attack. And, in the Null attack, the recorder of the video sacrificed themselves for the town, and that's sort of what gave the town its sort of fame. Now, I remember, because at the time, before Iron Haven began, General Major Bravs and my clan, I think it was called like the Lion Empire or something like that. Whatever it was our clan, it was our little base, our empire, our clan. And we were the previous biggest. We had like 30 members or something like that. And then after the Null attack, Iron Haven, the little town village thing, had around like 80 to 90 members, which was huge. And it was just insane. And eventually, Luke B. the Builder and I formed a really good friendship to the point where I co-owned the town. And we had like matching towers next to each other, surveying the rest of the town. And I basically just watched over everything and made sure everyone was doing all right and everyone had what they needed, like food and resources, tools, stuff like that. I was basically like the supplier of the town, kind of. And after a long time, like maybe 5 months or so, I guess me and Luke kind of fell out a bit because I learned that he was talking to a girl at the time on SMC. Like, he was developing like an online crush, like a Minecraft girlfriend crush. So, me being young and immature and fart jokes are funny. Well, fart jokes are still funny and hot, but like, so I think I told her, and then she was like, "Oh, that's something." And that's kind of all I heard about it. And then like a month later, I was in a VC with Luke and Jack, and Jack 100% snitched on me. Like, Jack, I hope you hear this. Jack the Finster, yeah, you snitched on me. You 100% snitched on me. And you told Luke that I told the girl that Luke had a crush on her. And Luke, he did not like that. Not at all. So he DM'd me after the call. Like, I left the call because he was like, "What the fuck, man? How dare you do?" He was like really mad or something. I'm not sure what he said, but I know he was really angry. And then he DM'd me on Skype later on, and he was like, he was like an anime protagonist. He was like an anime main character doing like this inspirational plot where he's on the ground and he's clenched his fist and his theme song started playing, and he was like, "Orskill, me and my friends and my town will hunt you down to the ends of the earth. I do not care if you're in the nether or the end or the overworld. Me and my friends." Sorry, I'm getting bored thinking about how boring this thing was, but "Me and my friends will hunt you down and destroy you. There will be nothing left of your legacy or your name. Everyone will forget you." Yada, yada, yada. And like a day later, he completely forgot about it. Nothing came out of it. I was totally prepared to take on like a 6v20. I was totally prepared to do a 1v21 or a 1v80. Because I was a warrior at that time. I did not back down from a fight. Nowadays, I'm sort of a peacekeeper at this point because I'm not as good as I used to be. But yeah, that's the story of Luke B. the Builder and Iron Haven. Alright, let's see. What's another good story that you guys would enjoy? I guess I could talk about my origins. Yeah, let's talk about my origins. Okay, so this was back in 2014. And this is when I first discovered him. Along came Josh and, all this creepypasta stuff. And the first video I ever saw of him was like the Herobrine series. And it was so mysterious to me. And it was so well done that I thought it was real. Like, I knew Herobrine at the time, but I was like on a gray point. I didn't know if he was real. I didn't know if he was fake. And Josh's Herobrine series kind of solidified the fact to my little young brain that, oh my god, he is real. This is evidence. And it was, Josh, he was really good at that. But yeah, I watched the entire series and I was amazed. And then after that, a couple of days later, I was sitting on my bed and I was eating a breakfast sandwich with eggs, ham, cheese. I think there was sauce on it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I had a breakfast sandwich. I had milk. I had oranges, and I was just chilling there watching videos. And then all of a sudden, Josh's Null Attack video on Spidey MC came up, and I was like, "Yo, that's cool. I could go there." And previously, I'll save that part for another video. I played on a server that was before SMC, and I'll talk about that later. But right now, we're gonna talk about this. So my origins. I joined the server, and the first thing I said was, "Is Null here?" And Red Soul Heart, I think she was on the video. She said, "Maybe," wink, wink, or something. And then the first person I met was General Major Brav. Mind you, this was back in 2015/2016. Yeah, 2015. This was in 2015, I think. Either that or it was early 2016. Anyways, point is, this was before I made any videos. Like I started making videos like a year after I joined SMC. That's how much I spent there before actually making my YouTube channel. Anyway, so the first person I meet on there was General Major Brav, and this would form a long friendship between us. And I teleported to him, and he had this little town with Jack the Finster, Shark Bite, I think, and then I think that was it. There might have been more, but he had sort of like a town, sort of. I think it was called Lion Town or something. I don't know. There was these like slab walls with gray and light gray, and there was these like houses and stuff like that. Oh, it was so good. I miss this. God, I want to go back to that world so bad. Anyways, continuing onwards, I made a little house, and my floor was like, it was like a red rug, and down below was my basement where a null attack actually happened. A null attack actually happened inside of my home. A little known fact. Not many people know about it because not many people actually watched it, because the only video in existence of it is on Ty Paris' channel. I'll put the link in the description if you want to watch that. It was really cool, and then you can see the houses and stuff like that. It's just, oh God, you really just had to be there to experience that phase of SMC. It was perfect. Nothing like it is today. No one hates each other now. That no one hated each other like they do now. No one disliked each other like they do now. Everyone was just so cool. Anyways, my basement, Raider 2679 or something like that was living in my basement. He had like a separate little cubby for himself in my basement. And eventually, like, an entire town started to form in my basement. And I had this, like, closet full of, like, oh my God. I might start tearing up thinking about this. Apologies in advance. But, yeah, that's my little home. I never really played on single player, so SMC was my really first experience of Minecraft as a whole. Like, I played on creative on my single player worlds, but I never really played on like survival. Well, I have before, but it was like hardcore, so I digress though. Oh God, I really don't want to get emotional in front of you guys, because you're just here to listen to me talk and listen to my stories, but I'm getting all choked up about those old days. God. Anyways, continuing onwards. After a while, the town was just so great. It was so nice. People on there was so... Oh, I had a mailbox. I had a roof. I can't focus. I'm getting too choked up to think about it. After a while, this was when SMC 1.0 was kind of concluding, and then SMC 2.0 was beginning. I remember DMing Faith, who at the time was known as Silver Star 6, and she must have been like 15 at the time, and I was like 11 or 12. And then I messaged her, and I was like, "No, I don't want to. Are my items gonna be okay?" And then she was like, "Yeah, probably," or something like that. And she was like, "Oh, don't worry, your items will be okay." That was my first reaction with Faith. Just, my items gonna be okay. Little 12-year-old me. Are my items gonna be okay? God, that's amazing. And then General had the idea after 1.0 transitioned to 2.0. No, this was before even that. Oh my God, okay. Before that, actually, when 1.0 transitioned to 2.0, I moved in with a guy named Typire, who kind of teleported to my house during the null attack, but we weren't really friends. He kind of just showed up. Nowadays, Typire is a relatively successful GD YouTuber. I'll have his link in the description as well. Actually, no. You can just click on the video and go, and on the video previously, and just go to his recent videos. But right now, yeah. I also lived with a guy named Wolf the Killer something. I think he had numbers as a name, but I don't know. And Typire lived in this little... I'm so sorry for getting emotional. I really don't. I'm really not trying to. It's just I think about the old days, and I just get all choked up. So I really do apologize in advance. But he lived in this field, and he had a little bit of a stage that I made, and I sort of just danced on it. Looking back, it was like a stripper pole. But yeah, he had this little triangle house with I don't know what it was on the top. I think it was an end rod. And then I had my house, which was basically an upgraded version of my previous one, but just big. You know, it had 3 floors. It was so good. Oh, I miss that house. There's like multiple videos of it, and it's prime and then it's destroyed. Anyways, God, it's just so cool. I really do miss those days. Care in the world, just playing Minecraft. Not a single worry. Wow. And yeah, after that, essentially, that's when I really got back to Gen, because after a while, I moved. I was still living with Typire, but I kind of frequented. I lived in both Gen's area and then Typire's area. And since Jen didn't really have a town anymore, since all the stuff were being moved, Jen had the idea of, yo, how about I make a giant castle? A giant castle, you know? Somewhere to just chill and vibe. And wait, no. The Typire stuff was still on 1.0. Wow, okay. So the Typewriter stuff was on 1.0. This wasn't the Switch yet. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the confusion, but yeah. Anyways, Jen kind of came up to me one day, and he was like, yo, let's make a giant castle. And I said, yeah, that'd be a great idea, but how are we going to get the resources to build it? And he was like, oh, no, it's fine. I already have all the resources. And then, after the main castle part is built, he knighted me Duke of the Castle. Well, first I was the Royal Guard, and then I was the Duke, and then he knighted Jack the Finster as the Royal Guard. I don't know what nickname was. Nickname was a player, not an actual, thing. Sharkbite didn't really play much after that. He was more of a 1.0 type dude. And yeah, that's really when I started making videos, and then, you can understand the rest from there. But wow, it's incredible. If you want to know the rest of what happened, then all you have to do is just watch the SMC playlist, because most of my videos, all of my SMC videos are on there in order, so, And yeah, that's my SMC origins. I really am sorry for getting emotional near the end. It was really unexpected. I thought I would be able to just, power through this, but, I ended up getting quite emotional. And I really do apologize for that. But, yeah. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this series. I really hope you are, because, just leaving a comment saying, oh, I like this, or you're doing great, or, something like that. I just love the positive reinforcement because I want to know that you guys are actually enjoying this and not watching it just because like you're watching it because you want to watch it, not watching it because you were told to by someone. Uh, but yeah, next up I'll tell you stories of another server before SMC. So, bye.